in Manenberg, and for the past few days, 6 young people has been shot. Reese, Diano, Bester, Yumna, a grade 11 at Phoenix High, has been shot and killed in cold blood. How would these collaborative efforts that you outlined between yourself and other departments, how would this exactly and in the immediate stop this senseless killing of our children?
Schools, hospitals, and other institutions, public institutions, they are led by...
Guys, there seems to be a really unfortunate event coming out of Manenberg, where it appears that some gang shooting has actually taken the lives of some school students or school children in a very explicit manner. And that's actually what Ashley Sauls here is pointing out and asking the police minister, amidst other really difficult questions that the minister actually almost seems confused about, in handling gangs and crimes. And it appears that, SAPS seems to be not capable enough to really handle the alarming instances and events of gang-related shootings, killings, and murders, and, violence in South Africa. And so, but anyway, I think that, some of the responses by Senzum Chunu here actually point to the fact that, the police is actually kind of like stepping up its game in handling some of these issues. Let's listen to how he responds to some of these difficult questions about gang violence in South Africa, the Manenberg shootings and all. Let's listen to how Senzum Chunu actually responds to these questions on how SAPS is tackling the problems of extortion and gang violence in South Africa. And I'll be back with a really interesting analysis on the details on the shootings that actually has taken the lives of school children in Manenberg, as Ashley Sauls from the Patriotic Alliance highlights as a really poignant question to the police minister in this video.
Question number 452 has been asked by the Honourable Tebekulu to the Minister of Police. The question is about what efforts the Minister and his department have made to collaborate with other departments to develop tangible plans to address the surge of gang and violent activities in the country and the ever-pressing crime problem. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. South African Police Service recognized that gangsterism is not only law enforcement responsibility, but requires a holistic approach, which requires communities, departments, or the whole of government. Now, the link, for instance, between the number of gangs in South African correctional services and traditional gangs within communities, as well as insecure care facilities, remain cause for concern. And of examples that, to this effect, giving cause to our concern. Now, the response by the South African Police Services and relevant departments has been ongoing. I could give an example of correctional services, us having had meetings on this matter, Department of Social Development, having had meetings on this matter to raise the concerns and of exchanges and ongoing discussions with Department of Justice on the same matters. There are 4 pillars that underline these discussions. Firstly is human development. Now, communities are plagued by various stress factors. The adverse effect of drugs and alcoholic dependency and the impact it has on family disruption, schools disruption, and so on. And then social partnerships, spatial design, and the last one is criminal justice process. So I could emphatically say there are efforts that we are making in order to ensure that we act as one on the side of communities and on the side of government departments, even at provincial level, but also with the private sector. Thank you.
The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Tebekulu.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honourable Minister. Yes, it's true what the Minister has responded to, but the angle that one is coming from is that the biggest challenge that we are having currently with the gangsterism and all that, it's simply because the part of the members of the SAPS are a contributing factor to these factors. What is your department doing, Mr. Minister, to vet all members of the SAPS, because they seem to be part of, or they are contributing somehow to bringing in illegal firearms inside the prisons, as well as exchanging these drugs as it's alleged by some quarters. Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
Honourable Inkosi Tebekulu, to be honest, our job is to investigate crimes and criminals that would have committed such crimes. And we take them to magistrates and judges. Once those have done their job and then they end up in prisons, they are beyond SAPS. They are a responsibility of a different department. But out of worry and out of concern and out of our own observations where some crimes get committed by people in prisons, we've gone beyond our department, engaged other departments. The question is actually a direct responsibility to correctional services than SAPS, but on our side, I'm saying, other than waiting to reinvestigate, say, the same criminal and arrest the same criminal, we are engaging with other departments and so on, so that we decrease the number of instances where imprisoned criminals are at liberty to commit crimes and so on. Now, we even want them rearrested inside their cells, inside this, so that we show that we are arresting, we are meeting for the second time with you. You are still doing your 10 years and so on. But you have now committed another crime and we are new again. Thank you.
The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Mokoena.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The Department of Police outlined its strategy to fight crime that include the concept of whole of government, whole of society approach. Honourable Minister, how is the department ensuring the strengthening of the involvement of society as a whole in the fight against crime? I thank.
The Honourable Minister.
Well, firstly, we have structures called CPFs in communities that would have decided to take a stand against crime, and we assist them to formalize some of their processes. We don't have enough money, but this financial year, about 75 million has been committed just to assist CPFs, which are community-based crime-fighting structures. And we appreciate that. But what we appreciate more is those who are not, even if they don't get any allocation or any assistance, out of their own commitments and concern, they go out of their way and organize themselves into structures that fight crime and cooperate with police. Where it happens, it's quite effective. And therefore, we are asking the public out there to join those who have already established this and establish them where they are not yet established. But private organizations as well, private sector organizations are much more community-based, especially those who do patrols on streets and all of that. Where it happens, it's proving to be quite beneficial to all of us in the fight against crime. But as I say, we even have a toll-free number where we encourage communities that in the in the safety of their homes. They can phone, they can use the toll-free number without actually mentioning their names and without giving their addresses. Just report crime and where it's happening. And where they have done so, especially in the Mthatha area, we have benefited because people used these toll-free numbers or hotline, as they call it. It has worked in a number of instances.
Honourable Minister, your time has expired.
And I see people are quite happy with that. Thank you.
Order, Deputy Speaker.
Yes, Honourable.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Study Minister, ifonele le toll-free number now. Sila, ayifake speaking. Nabon iyasebenza the number because the number is not working.
Honourable Member, that is not a point of order. We proceed. The third supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Souls. Honourable Members, order. Honourable Members, order please. Honourable Souls will now ask his question. Honourable Mente. Honourable Members, order please. Allow the Honourable Souls to ask his question.
Or otherwise, you must call the number yourself here and demonstrate
the number
the
is
number is
working,
working.
but
You
it's
are
not
now
working.
totally out of order. Please take your seat. Honourable Souls, please ask your question. Honourable Souls, please proceed with your question. Honourable Mente, do you have a point of order? And please indicate which point of order you are referring to.
Speaker, there was a point of order. You haven't made a ruling. Can we hear your ruling on that? That the minister must call the number now and put it on speaker.
Honourable Mente, you clearly did not listen to what I said. I said that is not a point of order. That is my ruling. That is something you can take up with the minister later. Honourable Souls, please ask your question. Honourable Souls, please proceed.
Honourable Minister, in Manenberg, for the past few days, 6 young people has been shot. Reese, Diano, Bester, Yumna, a grade 11 at Phoenix High, has been shot and killed in cold blood. How would these collaborative efforts that you outlined between yourself and other departments, how would this exactly and in the immediate stop this senseless killing of our children? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
Now, schools, hospitals, and other institutions, public institutions, they are led by specific departments and specific people on the ground. It is important for all of us, not just us in SAPS, but all of ourselves in this house, councillors, amakosi, and principals themselves, and leadership of the Department of Education right up to national, to actually initiate a situation where SAPS per police station, where such schools are found, to initiate engagements to say, well, this particular problem in this area, in some cases it will be just 2 or 3 individuals, which will take a small effort to deal with, and it gets dealt with. But if principals, if the Inspectorate of Education or managers of education, MECs and ministers, don't take that initiative, it is otherwise quite difficult for SAPS to police schools, all of them as a whole. But we have given them advice and directive that a police station and a station commander must expect that they would be approached and they must be responsive to whatever over and above fighting crime around schools. But we're urging, pleading, and saying, please approach police stations, and only if there is no cooperation that the matter can be escalated. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Brilliant, guys. So I think we'll just go quickly into the report. The report actually I found from the Voice of the Cape, is a media outlet. It actually speaks about how that the community of Manenberg has been left shaking after a violent weekend that saw 3 people killed and 2 others injured in separate shooting incidents. It says police spokesperson Captain F.C. Van Wyk actually confirmed that officers responded to reports of gun violence in Storms River Walk on Sunday morning on November the 3rd. Now, upon arrival, it says that the police found a 23-year-old man and a 17-year-old female who had been fatally shot. All right. It says that 2 other males, aged 26 and 33, also sustained injuries. Now, it also speaks about how that a female was actually taken to a nearby hospital where she later died from her injuries, and a male succumbed to his wounds at the scene. So this actually, I think, are the 2 people that were found at the scene were the police. So these are police statements. It goes on to also say, I think this is the police speaking, saying that 2 other males, okay, now this is Van Wyk speaking, yes. It says 2 other males were shot and injured, one in the right foot and the other in the buttocks. Shortly after the first shooting, police received report of a second shooting in the same area. Wow. 2 shootings almost at the same time within the same area. I mean, like, it's really unfortunate. Police say that they discovered the body of a 33-year-old man with multiple gunshots. It says that it's alleged, now this is Van Wyk speaking again, it's alleged that the deceased was a suspect who shot the victims earlier in the Storms River Walk. It is currently unknown who shot the deceased, but the motive behind this incident is part of an ongoing investigation. So it appears that it's kind of like a gang violence, kind of like shoot and response thing, where the first assailant actually gunned down 2 people, then probably a response from the rival gang then gunned down. So 2 shootings within the same period and the same area. So it says that speaking to Voice of the Cape News, chairperson of the Manenberg Community Police Forum, Vanessa Adrianse, actually expressed concern about the ongoing gang violence plaguing the area. She said that the community cannot live a normal life when shootings occur. These gang wars hold the community hostage. We cannot afford to lose more lives. Our residents are being severely affected, and we're appealing to all levels of government to intervene and assist the community. And for me, personally, I usually have this opinion, and this is actually beyond the government. This police, Adrian says she's appealing to all levels of government. I even think that appeal should be made to the level of the African Union, because the gang violence and the police issue, the crime rate in South Africa seems to be something that I don't know if the SAPS in South Africa is equipped enough to really handle all of that. So probably the African Union might need to step in to assist South Africa in this really delicate fight against gangs. So it says that the violence has also raised concerns about the upcoming Ward 30 by-elections, which is set to take place on 19th and 20th of November 2024. And if probably SAPS is able to even maintain peace for that by-elections, nobody knows. So it says that she says that with this ongoing shooting and gang warfare, volunteers and IEC officials won't be able to carry out walkabouts and deliver essential services. We cannot risk sending IEC, I think Independent Electoral Commission, right, officials into a community where killings are taking place. And as the CPF, we are urging gangsters to lay down their weapons and silence the gun. So she's appealing to the gang members to really allow the by-elections take place. I think this is going to be taking place next week. It says that most of these shooters live in the community, and at the end of the day, they too are affected by their own environment. So I found some also interesting Facebook comments that actually give us more light on these issues. So to understand. And this was a report from this Facebook user, I think Gregory, speaking about how, this is his complaint. He argues that can the fighting political parties put their differences aside for the benefit of our community and organize something with Manenberg, SAPS, and the CPF and other law agencies regarding these all-night street parties, because festive hasn't even started. And look at the tragedy that unfolded this morning. SAPS drive past, too afraid to stop these parties, and it's a nuisance to many as its exams and kids want to study. Mostly, the people can't say anything because the parties are organized by gangs. The important role players need to step up now. Jule Amal Mark Grus promises we vote. So now is the time to prove you're really trying to make a difference in Manenberg. It's pointless to making sad videos and posting condolences after the fact. Nothing will bring back the innocent, and you can prevent future deaths. Put your political reputation where your mouth is. So I think that's kind of like sums it up, because I think that's a really powerful comment there on Facebook. And I remember the last video I made, the EFF MP in Parliament actually spoke to the fact that people are not able to speak about these gangs and all that because they're afraid of their lives, you see. And so when parties are, usually organized in the street by gangs, people cannot, they just have to watch. And SAPS, which is actually supposed to be the entity in society that keeps community and provinces safe, seems not to be capable enough to handle this whole gang issues and all that. I know that police officer says Mkwanazi in the Western Cape is actually doing his best, but he cannot do everything. You see, and so SAPS might need extra help from the African Union. This is my proposition. I've been saying it for many videos now, and I'll keep saying it because there's a really, really terrible case of, violence in South Africa, gangs and all that needs exterior help. And I'm sure that many of the gangsters, also know that they need help because they're not able to. They're kind of like stuck in a system that seems to be like a rabbit hole where if you do not keep on going deeper, there's no way out. And I'm sure many of them would appreciate to see their societies and, immediate communities peaceful, but they're not able to do much because it seems like a rabbit hole that you have to keep on being vigilant for counter attacks and all that. And at the end of the day, the whole problem keeps getting deeper and deeper, especially with a weak SAPS. To handle these issues and then really promise safety in communities in South Africa. So I really think that the African Union needs to step in somehow to support South Africa police and, try to achieve this whole thing with achieving peace in South Africa and ending the 82 murders a day in South Africa, which feels like a war, but it's not a war. South Africa is not in a war. And probably, I don't know if Senzom Chunu needs to now work closely with the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. These were kind of like propositions by Gaten McKenzie and, even the likes of Neil de Beer on the example of Nayib Bukele and how now what was a former murder capital of the world in El Salvador is now the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. And South Africa seems to have taken that baton and it's now almost what might be called a murder capital of the world. So I really don't know. These are really complex times, complex challenges, but I really hope that, the police can actually have a much more broader based outlook in trying to achieve this issue with crime, bring the matter up to the level of the African Union, let there be much more collaborative efforts, you see, within Africa, and then really help, in trying to handle these issues of crime and violence in South Africa. But anyway, what do you guys think about this? Write your thoughts. Let's hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.